This morning, we're going to start out with Rick Manning, president of Americans for Limited Government, talking about the possible trapdoors that CNN could employ in tomorrow night's debate. What will a Trump victory look like? Even for that matter, you can ask the same question: what would a Biden victory look like in this debate? Of course, they've realized that they've set the bar so low that if he manages to get on stage into the microphone, everybody will be high-fiving. I don't know. I mean, this is a very it's going to be very interesting because we know from the get-go it's not going to be objective. It's going to be highly partisan. You've got Jake Tapper and you've got Dana Bash as the moderators. CNN, which is amazing to me. That CNN would be the first one. And this may be the only debate that happens, depending on what happens tomorrow night. But Donald Trump, in order to have the debate, had to agree to a lot of things in in a sense, a hostile environment. He had to accept, everything. He did get a couple of minor concessions, but all in all, very much in the favor of President Biden. Not to mention the fact that you got two moderators that are very biased and are going to do everything they can to tilt the playing field. And it's not like CNN has not been associated with cheating or fudging or tilting the table, so to speak. We know Donna Brazile presented the questions to Hillary Clinton in advance, right? You also had the Candy Crowley deal, who decided to fact check Mitt Romney, if you remember, right in the middle of the debate. Here you have multiple millions of people watching the debate, and she fact checks Mitt Romney, and then afterwards goes, "Oh, I'm wrong." Well, the "oh, I'm wrong" was pretty much exclusive to the CNN audience. Yes, Fox and some others, ran it, but not as big a deal as it was during the debate. Clearly, right? The impact, the damage had already been done. And unfortunately, that is the nature of operatives like this. Is that look at you do the damage and let the chips fall where they're going to fall and take advantage, right? Same way as Joe Biden. He knew his son's laptop was not Russian disinformation. Bought into a narrative. They manufactured a narrative to, put this into the bloodstream of the body politic. Basically, this poison. He flat out lied. FBI already knew in advance that it was legitimate. And then you get 51 supposed intelligent officials, four former CIA heads, to sign on to a document declaring that this could possibly be, Russian disinformation. Of course, it wasn't presented as possible. It was pretty much laid out there. And that's what Joe Biden said. But, hey, the damage had been done. So much so that even to this day, even though the FBI has come back and said, okay, it is legitimate, it's not Russian disinformation, you still have a percentage of Americans that still believe in the first lie. And it's so amazing to me because the Democrats say, oh, Donald Trump and the big lie of January the 6th and the big lie of the of the election. Well, I think that when you look at how many people believe in the Russian disinformation of Hunter's laptop versus the number of people who believe that something fishy went on during the 2020 election, huge difference. I mean, you've got a majority of Americans that believe that something is wrong, but the majority of Americans are told, hey, we don't want to talk about it. It's already been settled. Joe Biden is the president. He won fair and square. That's what they tell us that we're supposed to believe. Forget that you believe differently, and you're not alone. Again, the majority of Americans, I'm talking Republicans, Democrats, Independents, look at the numbers, see for yourself, believe that something fishy. We still do not believe what happened in the 2020 elections. Hopefully, to God, this doesn't reproduce itself in 2024. Bill Pasco is also with us, and also from Numbers USA. We've got the CEO, James Massa, to talk about, the border crises and the false numbers that are coming our way. So stay tuned. It's all coming up right here.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. That's 800-699-0358.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's do it.
Bill Martinez Live, a program about current events, our culture, our values, our politics, and our future. And now, Bill Martinez.
We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going. We better stop. Hey, what's that sound? Everybody look what's going.
6 minutes after the top of the hour. Good to have you with us. I'm Bill Martinez. Rick Manning going to join us here in a few segundos. I have confidence that he's going to be joining us as he gets his camera already set up. We've got his microphone set up, and so the countdown begins because we have lots to talk about, especially as it relates to tomorrow night. Hey, Rick Manning, good to have you with us. How are you, sir?
Good to be on, and sorry for.
I think we're muted. We've got to unmute you. Okay, let's find the microphone. There we go. Okay, I'm showing that you're unmuted, but for some reason I'm not hearing you. You're barely got to turn your volume up a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Well, Rick is playing with those knobs here. Of course, Rick is the president of Americans for Limited Government. And we do, as I mentioned, want to talk about these potential trap doors that no doubt CNN is laying. I mean, well, it's the whole operation. You know, we say CNN. I mean, they're they're kind of the stooges for the apparatchik that wants to tilt the playing field in Joe Biden's favor. And you know it's got to be more than obvious because it's not like, Joe Biden has convinced us that he can handle a 90-minute debate. Right, Rick?
No, I mean, he can't handle a 90-minute debate. It's, what we're looking at is, the CNN people are going to attempt to protect him as much as possible. We've seen their willingness to throw a Trump spokesperson off the air. Simply for disputing what they think is true. Yeah. So yeah, they're going to.
Yeah, how do you dispute, a valid representation? I mean, look at she wasn't making up stuff that Jake Tapper had said. I mean, she was just going on to quote the things that he said in terms of referencing Donald Trump as being Hitler himself, right?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And so, what if CNN couldn't pass the basic test of somebody who's a polite spokesperson, one wonders how they're going to pass the test of Donald Trump himself on, just blazing away at Joe Biden. That's why they have Jake Tapper there. That's why they have the Dana Bush there, Dana Bash there. Yeah. Their job is to protect Joe Biden. And quite honestly, Donald Trump agreed to this, and he agreed to it because he knew it was probably the only way he was ever going to get
exactly
Joe Biden on a stage.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. He had to concede. And Donald Trump's a lot wiser as a result of he knows the games, he knows the trap that he's going into. Here you got Joe Biden spending how many days? 8, 9, 10 days training 16 people working with him, advising him on this one night. I mean, here he is, the president of the United States of America, and he's spending more time on a 90-minute debate than he is in running the country. Maybe somebody yes, maybe because he's not running the country, he can do that.
Well, I have to say that that's perhaps the most distressing aspect of this because it goes directly to his capacity. You have a 3-minute answer period with no real interchange at all. A mid-level Capitol Hill staffer could do this debate. Okay, this isn't, 3 minutes. You're not getting into depths of Taiwan policy. You're not going to be getting in. This isn't the Kennedy Nixon debate where you spend almost, 20 minutes talking about Taiwan. Okay,
Right.
This is about, set piece. You're going to ask a question. You got to believe he's got the questions in advance. He's going to sit there. He's going to learn a response. He's going to mumble out a response. And he only has to basically not fall down and not say anything so incredibly stupid or untrue that even CNN has to acknowledge it in order to effectively perform enough that the people will say, "Oh, well, see, he's capable."
Yeah.
So
Look
he's
look
got a
how
very low
combative.
bar to
I mean,
to go
you're
over.
you're exactly right, because you say 3 minutes, it's 2 minutes, and plus you get a minute rebuttal. But so it's not even three contiguous minutes. So what can you do in 2 minutes? I mean, you're just reading bullet points, right? How much substance do you need for a 2 minute response to your point?
Well, Bill, all I can say is that, Donald Trump's a convicted felon, and, we just can't have a convicted felon in the White House. And, the fact is, I was not at all. I was found innocent of all the classified document charges,
Right.
and my son is being railroaded because of a politically motivated attack on him through a completely unverified laptop.
Yeah.
So there's your 2 minutes. Sorry,
Yes.
I mean that's all you have to do. I mean it's anybody. Anybody who is vaguely aware of the issues going on would be able to handle this debate. And certainly a president of the United States should be, what he should want to do is he should want to have the questions be 5-minute answers, so you can get into depth, show his depth of knowledge,
At
so his
least. Yes.
command of the presidency, because
Exactly.
that's the home field advantage he has.
Right.
The President of the United States gets briefings every single day on the issues that matter. He doesn't need to go away to learn how to debate. He's been debating his whole life. What he needs to do is if he just sits there, assuming he's able to do his job, he should be able to walk in that room completely unprepped and be able to give quality, in-depth answers that show a real capacity to handle the issues facing this country. And if he cannot do that, he cannot be president. I don't care if you like Donald Trump or not. This guy cannot be president if he cannot perform basic political functions.
Well, to me, Robert Hur took him off the stage.
Yeah.
I mean, he said, look, he can't even be prosecuted on a documents case because he's so feeble-minded. Hello, why are we having this conversation? A special counsel has already determined not to go any further with this indictment, or any kind of indictment on this documents case of Joe Biden, because he's mentally incapacitated for all intent and purposes.
Remember, and when Congress attempts to get to actually hear the tapes, so they can determine whether or not he should still be president, allowed to continue serving as president.
Yes.
Because if he's enfeebled and unable to do so, if he can't be prosecuted, we've got this guy's president. That's, few things scarier than that. So so the question is, Congress tries to do that, and Biden's attorney general says, nope, not giving it to you, gets cited for contempt, and now is sitting there saying, well, DOJ, his employees said, no, you can't act, we're not going to prosecute it. You can't actually cite him for contempt. If Congress doesn't have the right to determine whether or not a president is capable of doing his job, they don't have that right, then there's nothing they can get out of the White House, out of the presidency. Now we might as well just throw up our hands.
Right, exactly. Well, this is where we are right now, and people. You assume that people voted for Joe Biden because they believed what he said, that he was going to be a unifying figure. If anything, he's disunifying, if not even more so, than Barack Obama, who gave us hope and change. It turned into hopelessness altogether. Rick Manning.
He gave us hope, but we hope to change.
That's right. Exactly. We've got to go to break right now. More from Rick Manning after this. Stay with us. Okay, so you're seriously thinking about investing in gold and silver? And I don't blame you considering our current economic condition. So the question I get asked all the time is, Bill, who can I trust? Okay, you have to know we're constantly being approached by gold investment groups, but I wanted to make sure if I was going to recommend a gold investment group to my audience, that it was someone I could trust and recommend to my own family and friends. This is why I chose the Genesis Gold Group. Their customer service and knowledge is world class. You're going to find out and see for yourself when you call Genesis Gold Group at 844-202-4252. I only trust Genesis Gold Group, and I know you will too. They're committed to getting your money back on the gold standard. So call the Genesis Gold Group today, 844-202-4252. That's 844-202-4252. Or check out the website, goldwithbill.com.
Since I'm a real
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-536-4436. That's 800-536-4436. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-536-4436.
Do you have Medicare and do you use a CPAP machine? This is a national healthcare alert regarding your CPAP supplies. Using a clean CPAP mask and clean supplies is important to staying healthy. The best way to make sure your CPAP equipment is clean is to get new supplies. If you have Medicare, we have great news. Medicare will pay for you to have new clean supplies every 90 days. We'll even do all the paperwork for you to make sure that there's little to no out-of-pocket cost to you. And you don't even have to leave your home. We provide free in-home delivery. So if you're a CPAP user and you have Medicare, staying healthy with new CPAP equipment is easy. Just make this free phone call right now to get started.
Sponsored by Specialty Medical. 800-254-1421. 800-254-1421. 800-254-1421. That's 800-254-1421.
Home sales are down 31% across America, and mortgage rates are on the rise. If your home is not selling, you need to call our experts right now at the Quick Cash Hotline. We have investors ready to pay you cash for your property, regardless of the condition it's in. Most of our closings can happen in about 7 days. You don't have to worry about a buyer getting approved. You don't have to worry about showing your home. One simple call right now. Just pick up the phone and call us. I'll give you the number in a second. We will negotiate with you a price to buy your home. It's that simple. If you're ready to sell your home right now, any home, any condition, and you don't want to put money into it, no problem. We'll buy it from you. Call right now. It's a free call.
800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. That's 800-217-6459.
Welcome back, America. 19 minutes after the top of the hour. Bill Martinez here, coming at you fresh and independent, along with the most fresh and independent Rick Manning, the president of Americans for Limited Government. Well, Rick, let's put a bow around this debate, whether or not I think it's pretty well accepted. It's not going to be a free and fair kind of debate. As you mentioned, CNN will be in full control. After the time is up, they will, mute the microphones of both candidates, so they're not talking over one another. I did like what one person had said, Rick, that Donald Trump now, because there's nobody in the audience, right? It's just Jake Tapper and Dana Bash and a couple of the the floor people, the camera people in that with CNN. So it's just a very few people. And a person had commented said that now that Donald Trump will get an idea of what a Joe Biden campaign looks like when nobody is there or hardly anybody.
Yeah, it actually is the greatest disadvantage. Donald Trump feeds off of crowds, and
Right.
and so that's an interesting challenge. If I might, I had a friend from a Bible study who was a cameraman at CNN covering when Donald Trump won the presidency in 2016. And he was actually covering the panelists, and he was there on set while they're all reacting to Donald Trump winning. And he told me, the cameramen were all happy, but the people on stage were so depressed that it was almost, it was like somebody, their best friend died, and the cameramen are all sitting back there like pumping their fists. And so Donald Trump will not be alone. He just won't have anybody who can say anything. But the cameramen and the crew, they knew stands up for them, and that's Donald Trump.
Right.
So it was one of the things I always wondered about. What do the cameramen think? Well, they think just like everybody else does. They can see a phony from a not phony, and that's I don't know that he's allowed to go back into studios anymore because of that point of view. But that I just found it interesting that he will have friends there. They may not say much, but let's just call them the silent majority, the working men and
Yes.
women who are behind the foofs on the front stage.
Did you happen to catch Trump the other day when he had asked somebody for a Tic Tac, right? And the guy says, "Here, sir, I've got one for you." And he gave him a little tin Tic Tac, right? They come in those small versions, and he says, "This is perfect. This illustrates the Biden economy. Everything has shrunk, shrink inflation. This is what, people are so upset about. I wonder if he'll pull that out of his pocket during the debate and use that as an illustration, although they're not allowed, I guess, to, have pens or paper or anything else. I'm sure they'll body search him, but they're not about to do any drug testing on either one of the candidates, right?
Well, that's right. It's I think Donald Trump set the hook with that in terms of urging it. And so now, essentially Biden performs well, people assume he's on drugs. But we can't, I don't think, listen, Bill, I really want people to understand that the bar that Biden is having a hurdle on this
Oh my gosh,
so low
oh yeah,
that any mid-level 25-year-old, even 25-year-old political staffer on Capitol Hill would be able to do this debate and perform relatively flawlessly.
yeah.
So he's being asked to go back into when he was back when he was a kid, essentially. And, you only have to have this much knowledge. And I would hope the President of the United States has an incredible depth of knowledge.
Somebody who's been doing this, what, for 50 some years of his life?
Done nothing in his life but politics. You think?
Yeah, right.
I mean, this is, and I just find that incredible. So pay attention. If he's just doing, kind of word salads and trying to get through the two minutes, ask yourself, if you asked a radio talk show host how they would handle that question, would they have more information for you than Joe Biden provided? The answer will likely be yes.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So unless you're going, so I guess the answer is vote for Bill Martinez. If you can't vote for Trump, vote for Bill Martinez, because at least he'll know the answers.
Yeah, or Rick Manning. Let's say, hey, let's broaden it out here. I do want to.
I'm trying to narrow cast this vote.
Well,
Bill.
thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, but let's with 5 minutes left here, I wanted to ask you, what's the difference between Steve Bannon, Peter Navarro, Paul Manafort versus Alejandro Mayorkas, Merrick Garland, and Dr. Anthony Fauci? Allegedly, they have resisted an order by by Congress to appear, or supposedly have lied. They are, have been all held in contempt of Congress, but yet it's only Republicans that are going to jail or have gone to jail. And meanwhile, you've got Alejandro Mayorkas and Garland and Fauci just kind of thumbing their nose at Congress. What's going on here?
What's going on is the two-tier system of justice is being exposed. And it just makes the point that when Donald Trump is elected, one of the most important positions he's going to appoint is U.S. Attorney of the District of Columbia.
Yes.
Because the U.S. Attorney of the District of Columbia is the person who needs to prosecute these people. I don't think they get convicted in the District of Columbia with a bunch of their friends and allies
Of
as
course.
a jury.
Yeah, we've
But at the
already
very
went
least-
through one of those already, right?
Right.
Yes, exactly. Go ahead.
So, but ultimately, this has to be exposed. Congress, by the way, on Bannon, went off and said, disabused any notion that the committee that subpoenaed him had any power,
Right.
and are attempting to stop him from going to jail, and are attempting to get Navarro released.
Right.
Because by saying this panel had no authority, it
Right.
was illegitimate. And by declaring it illegitimate, any subpoena they issued was illegitimate. Now, will that, and since they're a House committee, the House of Representatives can do that. Will the court take that into account? I don't know, but certainly a Supreme Court should. And both, I don't know how you give Navarro his life back. but
Right,
he
exactly.
Should not go to jail, given the House itself has disavowed the committee and its very makeup, which was against House rules.
Right.
So
Why did it take them so long to do this, Rick? I mean, they've known this all along, and now all of a sudden they play the card. This should have been done a long time ago, in my humble opinion.
Yes, it should have. And I can't answer. I can answer that most things in Washington don't happen until there's an emergency, till there's a deadline. So there's a deadline with Bannon. Quite honestly, I don't think anybody actually thought of it. We think that these guys are, all thinking of everything, but the bottom line is one of the roles that I play and you play is we try to feed them ideas of things they can do to fight this battle. And I don't think anybody thought of it. They didn't look at it. Certainly,
Rick, maybe the Jack Smith, debate and his qualifications and legitimacy maybe spurred that on and said, hey, wait a minute, he's illegitimate. The January 6th committee, I think you're exactly right that somebody woke up at 3:00 in the morning and started connecting the dots and going, well, hey, why not?
Right. And that's why, by the way, that's why citizen input's so important. You think the 435 and the 25-year-olds who work for them in the House and the 100 in the Senate, they are all great ideas emanate from them. But the fact of the matter is, great ideas come from people walking up to a senator at an event or at a meeting in the district and saying, hey, I've got a problem. This is what's happening. And here's how you might deal with it.
Right.
That's how most great ideas come about. They don't come about Washington, D.C. They come about from people who are experiencing government in a way that people in Washington, D.C. don't. And so, folks, be empowered. Go and talk to your representative. Even if they can't do anything about it, if you don't tell them what's going wrong, don't expect them to know just by osmosis.
Right. Well, see, this is the beauty of our founding fathers in the Constitution and Declaration of Independence, a government of, for, by, we the people, considering, again, the cumulative intelligence. What are we up to? 340 million people who are out there living under the policies and the pain of this current administration, or even in their, local communities and that sort of thing. They're the ones that are living under it, and they can tell you whether or not it's working. It's kind of like, EVs. Go figure it out. After all the money that Joe Biden has dumped into EVs and trying to buttress it up, now you got EV owners going, I regret buying it, and if I could sell it back and get my old combustible engine back, I will do that in a heartbeat. Right, Rick Manning?
Yeah, well, you know what? Anytime the government's pushing something, you probably want to think twice before you jump as a first adopter. You want to make sure it actually works.
Exactly. Rick Manning, you're awesome. Thank you for being with us. Take care,
everybody. All right.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Say goodbye to pain, fatigue, and aging woes with Greska's Carbon 60. For more than a decade, Greska's Carbon 60 has been the go-to supplement to eliminate free radicals and toxins, improving overall health and mental clarity. Developed by a carbon engineer to provide the most bioavailable Carbon 60, Greska's food-grade dietary supplement provides the best value and natural relief from inflammation and pain. Discover the secret to a healthier life with Greska's Carbon 60. Greska's Carbon 60 is your solution for pain, inflammation, and fatigue. Greska's Carbon 60. Call anytime, 720-660-40, 720-660-40, or visit c-60.com. That's the letter c-60.com, c-60.com.
How would you like to save money on nearly all your prescription drugs? We've set up a special toll-free number for the RX Outreach Program. They're a nonprofit company whose mission it is to make prescription drugs more affordable to the masses. They don't take insurance, and in many cases, your prescriptions are even cheaper than your co-pays. They carry thousands of different prescription drugs, so whatever you're taking, there's a good chance they have it. No coupons are required, and this is not a discount card. It is pure savings on your prescription drugs. They specialize in generic meds for any chronic health needs you have. Call with your prescription and find out for free how little you can pay for your prescription drugs. Remember, we don't take insurance, so call right now.
800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. That's 800-705-6581.
Hey, we're back with you. Glad you could join us 28 minutes before the top of the hour. Bill Martinez here, and we've got Bill Pasco from the Tea Party Patriots Action. He is the TPP's Citizen Fund Political Director and TPP's man in Washington. Hey, Bill, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing well, Bill. How are you this morning?
Hey, I'm doing terrific. Good to have you with us here, talking about this first presidential debate. I mentioned to Rick Manning earlier, one of the comments was that now Donald Trump, because, you know, there's no audience, right? Just a scant crew there that will be conducting this CNN debate with Dana Bash and Jake Tapper. The comment was that now Donald Trump will experience what Joe Biden experiences each time he goes and has a campaign rally.
Quite a different scene from what Trump is used to, with tens of thousands of people screaming his name every time he opens his mouth. Yeah, I think this is going to be a very interesting debate. I'm going to be curious to see, do we get the 84 million viewers that we got for the first Trump-Hillary Clinton debate in 2016 that set the all-time record? This is obviously a very important debate for both men, and both of them are kind of rusty. It's the first time in the modern era of presidential campaigning that we've had a political debate between the two general election candidates in June. For goodness sake, neither one has actually been officially nominated. I think I'm going to throw this out there. It's a possibility that the Democrats did this for a reason. They've still got a month and a half to go before their nominating convention. If Joe Biden falls on his face, if he absolutely blows up in this debate, they've still got time to pull the plug on the Biden candidacy and swap in somebody else. This is I can't help but wonder, as crazy as that sounds, I can't help but wonder if that might not be part of why the Democrats wanted to do this first debate in June rather than in September when we traditionally get to the first debate.
Can you imagine the damage control they would have to do this? Because here they've been pushing this. All the leadership of the Democratic Party. Joe's our guy. He's sound. He's sharp as a tack. Ad nauseum. 100%. They've been behind this candidate. And then to switch him out, I mean, you talk about the shuffling to Buffalo they're going to have to go through in order to make this conversion. This is why they need, if they are to do this, if they are to supplant Joe Biden, they're going to need somebody of the realm of Michelle Obama. I don't know any other candidate or possible choice they could make that would, that could kind of, I guess, offset that crazy momentum that's going to come about with them pulling Joe Biden off the stage, if you know what I mean.
I think you're absolutely right. The problem for them is he's not sharp as a tack. He's sharp as a bowl of pudding. And the fact of the matter is that if you try to pull him out, then the obvious replacement is Kamala Harris. But there's no way in the world that Joe Biden is going to allow that. If he comes out, first off, we got to remember he only leaves by his will. There's no way. There is no provision in the rules of the Democratic Party to deny somebody the nomination after he's won the delegate votes, unless he chooses to resign the candidacy. We've talked about this before. So it's got to be the first thing that has to happen is Joe Biden has to make the decision himself to withdraw from the campaign. Once he does that, then the obvious replacement is Kamala Harris, his number two, the person that he chose to stand in for him if ever anything happened to him in the presidency. He said Kamala Harris is the one who will replace me. What a screwed up choice that was, and everybody in the country knows it. But
that wasn't. I mean, if the truth be known, that wasn't his choice. That was Barack Obama's choice.
Well, listen. Whoever's choice it was the wrong choice. And so he knows that if he's getting out, the purpose of him getting out would be to deny Trump a victory, right? That's the only reason that Biden is doing whatever he's doing. So he gets out. He's not going to leave it in the hands of Kamala Harris. I think you're right. I think it's got to be Michelle Obama. But Michelle Obama has absolutely no incentive to want to be president. She was in the White House for 8 years. They're now 100 millionaires or more, the Obamas. They've got the homes where they want the homes. They've got the high life where they need the high life. There is no reason in the world for her to want to go back to the crown jewel of the federal penal system, the White House. I mean, it's public housing. But if you're the president and the first lady, I can understand why many of them have viewed it as a prison of sorts because of the security demands. So they got a real problem on their hands.
You're right in that sense that Michelle Obama doesn't have the ego that, let's say, Hillary Clinton had. Hillary Clinton and Bill Clinton went into this as a force. And all along, their vision was, hey, you're going to be president first, and then I'll be president afterward. Yep. This was an arrangement that they had, going back to their college years, I believe. So this has been, so that's the difference. Michelle Obama, I agree. She'd be the reluctant messiah, so to speak.
Yep. And let's talk about the debate itself. Okay. The Biden campaign is doing the best it can to shift attention from what is the traditional reelection strategy of an incumbent running for reelection. When incumbents run for reelection, and we've had centuries of experience with this, when incumbents run for reelection, it's simply a simple question. Voters ask themselves one question. Does this guy deserve another 4 years in office?
Exactly.
Let's look at the last 4 years.
Am I better off? Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's it. Am I better off? And guess what? Nobody is better off. When you ask people that question, we're getting 65, 70% saying, are you kidding? No way I'm better off.
Right.
Well, if that's the fulcrum, if that's the question that voters are asking, Biden loses. And Biden's people are smart enough to know. They may not be smart enough to know how to run the economy properly, but they are smart political animals, and they understand that if they allow that to be the question that voters are answering for themselves, then they're dead. They're dead in the water.
So that's why they got to play the race card. That's why they have to play the reproductive rights card,
That's
which is unbelievable to me. I mean,
That's
under the terms of reproductive, we were saying this yesterday, Bill. To me, that's an oxymoron. Reproductive, female reproductive rights. No, that's a God-given right. God gave that right to you. So all of a sudden, you're going to subordinate that to the Democratic Party. And, come on, it's disingenuous. You're lying about it. It's not reproductive rights. You want the right to kill your baby. And as if that's not enough, you want the right to kill your baby and the right to send us the bill for it.
That's right. That's right. You want taxpayers to pay for it. You want it to happen right up until the actual moment of birth.
Even afterwards now.
If you're in Virginia,
exactly.
That's right. We had a governor right here in my home state of Virginia who was talking about the baby being born, and then we'll decide, for goodness sake.
We'll offer comfort care.
This is craziness. Look, we got a big debate. I want everybody to tune in because, and here's the other thing. When the Biden campaign came out with their quote unquote offer, we challenged Donald Trump to meet us on CNN with these conditions. And Trump turned right around and said, absolutely, I'm there. Mm-hmm. I'll see you there.
Right.
The commentariat, the pundit class said, oh, Biden pulled a fast one. Look, it's not going to be in front of a studio audience, so Trump will be at a disadvantage. They're going to have 2 commercial breaks, so Trump will be at a disadvantage. Everything they said was, oh, Biden pulled a fast one on Trump and Trump fell for it. Look, Trump wanted one thing. He got the one thing he wanted. You know the one thing he wanted? He wanted Joe Biden on a debate stage against him.
Exactly.
You got to remember, there was talk about Joe Biden not agreeing to debate Donald Trump. This gives the American people an opportunity to see. For 90 minutes, Joe Biden is going to have to stand on his own 2 feet in front of a studio, in a studio, in front of a television audience around the country, and we're all going to get to see him in a way that we haven't been allowed to see him literally for years.
Yeah, but Bill, protected by 2-minute sound bites. So, that's the other thing to consider here. The advantage in those 2-minute sound bites goes to Joe Biden because his memory can't handle more than 2 minutes.
I'll give you that. Give you that. But
we gotta leave it at there. Bill Pasco, thank you, sir.
What you love what you find. A Total Wine and More. There's so much waiting for you. All kinds of beers and thousands of wines. Guides in the know and prices so low. It just might blow your mind. You're gonna find what you love and love what you find.
Only at Total Wine and More. Drink responsibly. Be21.
Is switching your wireless service to Total by Verizon easy? Totalmente. And you get unlimited 5G data, $25 a line for 4 lines on the unlimited plan at an amazing price with no contracts. Should you switch to Total by Verizon? Definitely. Totalmente. Find a store or switch suavemente at totalbyverizon.com. Monthly rate when you activate without a pay plus taxes and fees. Discount begins the month after you enroll. Additional terms apply. See website for data management practices.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning-fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no upfront costs, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. 800-699-0358. That's 800-699-0358. If you're 65 or older and Medicare is your main source of insurance, pay close attention right now and listen for details on how you may save thousands of dollars on your health care costs. Did you know that Medicare can pay for things like dental visits, home delivery of drugs, even a gym membership? Call us right now and learn how to unlock all your Medicare benefits. Medicare and supplemental plans that we provide can even offer you drug coverage with zero copays and pay for transportation to your doctors. Medicare plans can offer you wonderful money-saving benefits, but you've got to call now. We'll help you get the most out of your Medicare. Make this free, no-obligation call now. Save a ton of money on your health care costs and get the code to unlock all your earned Medicare benefits. Paid for by Senior Choice Plans. 800-796-3954. 800-796-3954. That's 800-796-3954.
Hi, everyone. If you've been injured in an accident that was not your fault, listen up. We have legal professionals standing by to answer your questions for free. Call now and find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth. Call 800-745-9090. I'm here with spokesman John Wolf. So, John, tell everyone listening who should call right now.
Well, Maria, first off, thank you for having me here. It's always nice to answer the listeners' questions. Now, as far as who should call in, anyone who's been injured in an accident and think you deserve compensation, give us a call right now. 800-745-9090. You'll find out if you have a case and how much it's potentially worth.
Thanks, John. You heard it, folks. Take advantage of this opportunity and call now. 800-745-9090.
Advertisement sponsored by Legal Help Center. May not be available in all states.
14 minutes before the top of the hour right now. I am Bill Martinez. James Massa, CEO of Numbers USA, is with us now. Hey, James, good morning. How are you?
I'm very good. How are you today?
Hey, I'm doing excellent. Thank you. I'm looking forward to our conversation. Many things, talking about the debate, but also talking about Joe Biden's latest manipulative move. Tis the season. We're in election season. So all of a sudden now he understands we have a border crisis and, wants us to believe numbers that don't seem to make sense. Mayorkas is coming up with numbers. I mean, they're really doing their best to confuse the electorate here, James, to kind of dilute the real problem that we have here in the midst of Americans almost every day dying at the hands of an illegal migrant.
Well, there are story after story after story of exactly that occurring. And that's super unfortunate. Also, what's dying are people's wages and their ability to have good work opportunities because of this enormous influx of illegal presence that's here because of the open border that the Biden administration has created.
Well, and of course, Joe Biden's talking about, how many jobs he's created and look at unemployment being where it is. But then when you get into the numbers, you realize that illegals, hold those jobs at a higher rate than legal citizens. So, I mean, this is just, all a bunch of, flim flam, kabuki kind of theater that they're throwing at the people. And most of the people aren't paying attention and they just want to believe. But unless you go into the communities, into these minority communities, particularly Hispanic communities, and in Black America, they will tell you firsthand what's going on. And then, like in California, even to exacerbate the problem even worse, James, and I just got back visiting the kids and, seeing the effect of the minimum wage increase of $20 an hour. People hear, the workers are getting $20 an hour, but for these businesses, it translates to about maybe $26, $27 an hour because they got to cover taxes and all the other associated aspects of governmental costs for an employee. And this is why these businesses, especially the fast food restaurants that a lot of these young kids work at, are folding up their tents and moving out of Dodge here.
You've covered a lot of things there, and your everything you said I'm in agreement with you. One of the things that I really want to emphasize that you said early on is that the difference, the number of foreign workers who are getting these jobs is not a little bit more than U.S. workers. It's like 800,000 compared to 150,000. And when you look at the unemployment applications, they continue to be disproportionately the minorities, both Black and Hispanic, who are making these applications. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see high immigration, especially this illegal immigration that's occurring, is directly impacting U.S. workers and their ability to have jobs. And it's not just the entry labor force where you're talking about people who are looking to try to find a job and then they're being undermined, and then the minimum wage is being raised and raised. But it's also the high-end workers, the high-tech workers, where we have an enormous glut of high-tech workers. Almost, I think it's between 20 and 35% of those people who graduate today with a science, technology, engineering, or mechanical degree, a STEM worker, are actually in the field. They're waiting tables. I mean, they go to college and they can't find a job because of the influx of illegal and sometimes legal through temporary visas, H-1B workers that are coming in and taking American jobs.
Well, what did you think about Trump's statement that if an immigrant had graduated from college, that they should be given some consideration in terms of giving them a work permit so that it would keep them here in the United States? What did you think of that?
Well, several things. One is that the whole intention of the student visa program is to allow people to come in, get the education that can only be provided in the United States, and then send them back to their nation so that they can impact those nations for better and good. It really isn't an intention to bring them in and keep them here to be able to compete with our U.S. citizens who are going through the same schools and the same universities and trying to come out and compete for jobs. So it kind of goes against the whole principle of why we have the student visa program. But in addition to that, it's going to turn our universities into a visa machine. I mean, we really don't want to see that already. Like UCLA is over 55% international students. The second most common language on UCLA's campus is Chinese. And that's not uncommon across all of the high immigrant focused universities. They get high pay for it. They get their largest dollars. They actually have recruitment outside the United States, offices to recruit students outside the United States. While we have good students who are here, equally able to do the jobs and are competing to even get into the university, let alone when they come out of the university.
Exactly. Well, James, you bring up a good point here for us to think about, and that is that, if we're bringing students in with the idea that we want to send them back so that they can contribute to their home countries, I think on the surface, that's a great idea. But if you're getting students who, even though after being educated, can't really contribute because the paradigm in the country is so tyrannical, I mean, we're pouring, as they would say, pearls before swine in this issue. What do you think?
Well, there's a program from the Biden administration, and this again is something that's just kind of made up as a regulation from the executive branch that has no basis in law. It's called the OPT program. And what it allows is for a foreign student who comes here on a visa to spend the next 3 years looking for a job. So they have a temporary window of time to be able to find their way into the H-1B or other types of programs where they would have then a legitimate temporary visa. And as you can see how this goes, it just unfolds for the next 10 years where they're here competing with our jobs. Now, there may be exceptional people out there who we need to bring in, but the vast majority of these people, frankly, are not exceptional. They were good students who have graduated, just like every American student who has graduated as well.
Right. And what's the advantage? I mean, you have an American citizen, hopefully, who is raised in the culture of America and believes in America first and American values, as opposed to somebody else who is outside of the culture and would have mixed loyalties. I think when you look at it, you would want the person from the home team. And I know this may sound prejudiced, but again, I think it's a numbers opportunity game that we want to have a fair chance to be successful, America to be successful, and those who come in and, like you say, strategically, maybe we need to have an opportunity for those people who are exceptional. If they are, I mean, look what happened after World War II. We opened up, some avenues to bring in some exceptional people to, allow us to advance our technology.
Well, there's been some study, and I actually didn't believe it initially, tell you honest truth. And I delved into some of our researchers and some of our higher placed educational people and asked, is there really study being done right now that there could be too much diversity so that there would be so much diversity it would actually have a negative impact on democracy? And that sounds like a conflict, right? But the reality is they're starting to see that it isn't just the diversity of race and creed and those types of things. It's the political diversity that comes in. And when you have that, it ends up being a major challenge. So to focus on the issue, though, I'll give you an example of a business person I talked to recently, about a $10 million business. They're growing. It's an engineering-based business. They were looking for a new engineer. They got an application from a woman out of India here on a student visa looking to be able to work with an H-1B. They went through the whole process, realized instead of paying that person about $135,000, which they would pay a U.S. worker, U.S. citizen, they paid this person $80,000. Wow. The person comes in, gives 50% of their income back to India to their home family, which is good for her for the family perspective. But from a U.S. economy perspective, those dollars are leaving our economy.
Exactly.
At a rate of $42 billion a year in remittances outside of the United States. And then they find out culturally, and this isn't politically, but culturally, the person just didn't buy a car, didn't find an apartment, was kind of living with others, was moving around. And in her culture, that would have been acceptable, but it just was completely abrasive to the work environment that they were in. Those are the things that an employer needs to be aware of when they have this cultural differences that occur and you're bringing people in. You might get a cheap rate for a short time, but there's a cost to pay for it if they don't fit in and make your team work well.
Well, see, again, this is where this idea, and people are still trying to get their brains around this, Jay Massa, is that America first. What does that mean? And but I think we need to think in terms of that, because we haven't for so long. We've been so open-minded that, as my mentor would say, our brains have fallen out, and doing exactly this type of example that you just mentioned. And this is just one case of probably, hundreds of thousands of cases that are occurring across the country, right? I mean, because if somebody's making 80,000 and they're sending 40, 50,000 back home, it's an unlivable wage. You can't live on 30,000 here in the United States.
It is. And that's part of the dilemma. Let me tell you, we just had a big success. Literally last night in the House, there was a DHS, Department of Homeland Security Appropriations Committee looking at the rules of what they're going to vote on. And what had been put into that bill was an increase, a doubling of H-2Bs, which is non-agricultural workers, and H-2As. They've expanded that program by taking the seasonality out of it. That's the agricultural workers. And that was in this appropriations bill. The Numbers USA team, as well as our Numbers USA members, made their voice clear to the Speaker of the House, who did a great job of working through it and pulling that out of what's going to be voted on later today. But that's the type of thing that Numbers USA does, is educates voters. Voters make their voice known. They say, hey, we don't need these temporary workers, and you should take that language out. We don't need an increase during the biggest border crisis we've had in history.
Exactly. It's like, are we adding to the problem or taking away from it? I think that's a great question. And thank God for the energy and the participation of Numbers USA in affecting this change, and also for the speaker to wisely go along with it. James Massa, CEO of Numbers USA. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Take care.
Have a great day.
Radio TV. We've connected the world. We're like a makeover show for your brain.
Thank you.
Warning. May cause an addiction to witty banter and ability to stop snacking and spontaneous outbreaks of interpretive dance. Consult your friends before use, as they may become equally obsessed. Use responsibly or don't. We're not your mom. Use responsibly or don't. We ain't your mama.
Well, hello there. Check this out. You're listening to BBS Radio TV. That's right. All right. Okay. All right. All right. Guess what? It's the best station you've ever heard of. Now, I'm not just saying that because I'm me, huh? I'm saying that because it's the truth.
Other radio programs ain't got nothing on us, huh? I'm putting BBS Radio TVs on all your stations.
That's right.
Has your heater or air conditioner busted? Appliance broken? Computer crashed? Then you need an ARW home warranty. Home system and appliance repairs and replacements can cause stress and cost you thousands of dollars per year. With an A-plus BBB rating and a top-rated home warranty company on Consumer Affairs and Trustpilot, ARW Home provides superior service, featuring the industry's lowest service call fee. ARW Home has warranty plans that cover your kitchen and laundry appliances, heating and air conditioning systems, electrical and plumbing systems, and much more. Call 800-559-7562 to customize your plan. Plus, ARW has partnered with Azurian to protect your new and used tablets, laptops, TVs, and other home tech from accidental damage and wear and tear. All plans come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 800-559-7562. That's 800-559-7562.
BBS Radio TV. If it's not mainstream, it's on BBS Radio TV. A place for answers.
Top of the hour, a second hour underway here. We've got Dr. John Lott going to be talking about the Biden gun regulations that don't affect mass shootings. Are you surprised? So much that's discussed on the Beltway when it comes to gun control is pretty inert. I mean, it's all about pomp and circumstance and, show. It's really not anything that will affect, true change as to what's going on. A lot that I think that, we want to discuss about gun control it has to do with the heart and soul of America and its citizens. Our Second Amendment right was established in our Constitution for a specific reason. It was in part to, empower the citizens to defend themselves. I mean, when you look at other countries who have surrendered their guns, I mean, look at the type of government they have and look at how helpless the citizens seem to be. I mean, this is the land of the free, home of the brave. I mean, it is basically against our own conscience to do that. And yet, the government, for the sake of a few people who are absolute criminals that the government has been hesitant to prosecute as to what's going on, in so many cities, these George Soros DAs that are allowing people to murder and commit crimes at will and get away with it. This is all contributing to this increased, activity that's taking place and this crime rate. But yet, has been reported, these numbers are being fudged. All things that the government is telling us these days, you got to really do you just can't, trust but verify is really the term that you've got to consider when the government's giving numbers, whether it's unemployment numbers, whether, because we see it with our own eyes. We realize the cost of living has gone up. I mean, across the board, we're about 20% more than what it cost us, a year ago and even going into this current administration. And you think it's bad now. I mean, listen to what Joe Biden said. He says, look in another 4 years, I'm going to increase taxes. I'm going to level more, more tax paying on you. Oh boy, and get me to the ballot box and let me vote for him for 4 more years. Why not? Right. So, again, you just have to listen and pay attention to what's going on. Every once in a while, the politicians will be honest. And in that particular case, Joe Biden has been honest, is that he's looking to tax us more, not less, because they don't know what to do with $35 trillion in debt. They don't know what to do with the interest rate that we're paying on that debt. I mean, to the point now that it has lapsed our budget for the military. Our own national security is now subordinated to a interest payment. Sadly, this is what the Joe Biden administration has done to America. But getting back to Dr. John Lott, he breaks down these numbers. And again, it is amazing to me because John, as the president of the Crime Prevention Research Center and a researcher, I mean, he's a researcher's researcher. So he goes by the numbers. He's just calling it out for what it is. And this administration continues to ignore and come up with different stories and just blatantly want nothing to do with the facts. Julia Estrada is also with us. We're talking about having fun. I mean, it's that time of the year when you can have fun. I mean, it's not all about politics and debates. You may may need to decompress, and a great place to decompress is Legoland. And Julie is she's one of well, actually, she's the national director of public relations for Merlin Entertainments that manages Legoland, and lots of fun and things that maybe you haven't even thought about that are available. And then Captain Hung Kao, retired U.S. Navy captain, GOP U.S. Senate candidate out of Virginia, and author of the new book, Call Me an American. I'm looking forward to the conversation with Captain Kao, his background, his history, and that he is like he's one of those citizens that James Massa was talking about, who have come into this country, assimilated, contributed to it, and wants to even contribute more as a senator out of the great state of Virginia. So a terrific story, and you'll hear it from him directly. Captain Hung Kao will be with us. So we've got more coming up with you. Stay right where you are.
How would you like to save money on nearly all your prescription drugs? We've set up a special toll-free number for the RX Outreach Program. They're a nonprofit company whose mission it is to make prescription drugs more affordable to the masses. They don't take insurance, and in many cases, your prescriptions are even cheaper than your co-pays. They carry thousands of different prescription drugs, so whatever you're taking, there's a good chance they have it. No coupons are required, and this is not a discount card. It is pure savings on your prescription drugs. They specialize in generic meds for any chronic health needs you have. Call with your prescription and find out for free how little you can pay for your prescription drugs. Remember, we don't take insurance, so call right now.
800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. 800-705-6581. That's 800-705-6581.
Getting America back on track. Bill Martinez live.
6 minutes after the top of the hour, Bill Martinez here. Great to have you with us, sharing a part of your day. For more information on the show, you can check it out, BillMartinezShow.com. Dr. John Lott joins us now to talk about the Biden gun regulations that don't affect mass shootings. Dr. John, how you doing?
Doing great. Good to talk to you again, Bill.
Well, lots to catch up on. First of all, let's talk about these Biden gun regulations that they're touting as some sort of answer to these mass shootings. Break it down for us.
Right. Well, Biden's put out an ad attacking Trump on the gun control issue. The ad is really scurrilous. He goes through and blames Trump for the mass public shootings at Parkland and several other places. Mm-hmm. And then he says Trump doesn't want to do anything to stop these, but he is trying to do something. And the one regulation that he mentions are the background checks on the private transfers of guns that they're putting through from his Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, essentially classifying everybody just about as a firearms dealer. Mm-hmm. And, the problem is, after the Uvalde report came out recently, the number one solution that he mentioned, was background checks on private transfers of guns. It wouldn't have stopped the Uvalde attack.
Right.
In fact, it wouldn't have stopped one mass public shooting this century, even if such a law had been in effect and perfectly enforced. But yet, this is what they tried out. I mean, you and I know that they have other reasons for going and pushing this other than what they claim. I just wish somebody in the press would go and ask them, well, why is this your number one solution to these attacks when it wouldn't have stopped any of these attacks? And, I think, the reason is that they're putting together this national gun registry. As about 2 years ago, they had put together a computerized database of almost 1 billion firearms transactions over decades. Mm-hmm. And They want to make sure that they have all the transfers that occur. And so, at least for law-abiding citizens, they're not going to obviously have it for criminals.
Right.
And they want to make sure that they have a complete one, know who got transferred guns. And that's the reason why they're trying to do this. But look, it's also wrong to say Trump doesn't want to do anything. In my piece, I'm quoted Trump multiple times as saying, look, these attacks keep on occurring in gun-free zones.
Exactly.
Don't you think we ought to go and look into that and do something about those things? So the way I view this issue is Trump wants to do something that works. Biden wants to do something that has nothing to do with stopping these attacks.
Yeah,
You know, so
it's all political. Yeah.
So, I mean, at least Biden could be honest and say why he really wants these regulations. And he'd be forced to do that if the press would go and mention it.
Well, John, you're expecting President Biden to do something out of his character. When has he ever been forthcoming on everything? It's always, he's got something up his sleeve. It's never straight out exactly what the intent is, other than he was pretty direct about killing fossil fuels, no question about it, and promoting electric vehicles. He was straight up about that. So I'll give him credit there. But particularly when it comes to the Second Amendment, that's a whole nother bailiwick and another, almost a card trick, a shift of cards and dealing under the deck and not being, direct with us. And like you said, this is what is frustrating Americans, is that the media is not being forthcoming and doing their job. And this is why they continue to lose subscribers. And people, are in essence, giving them very low credibility marks anymore, because you really can't trust the media to do their job, John.
Right. Well, I mean, the media is doing its best to try to support Biden right now.
Exactly.
I mean, since we're talking about crime issues, I'm sure one of the things that's going to come up in the presidential debate is going to be Biden's claim about crime falling. And I hope Trump is able to respond properly to that, because there are two measures of crime that we have. We have the FBI data on reported crime, but we know the vast majority of crimes aren't reported to police. 42% of violent crimes are reported to police. Only 32% of property crimes are reported to police. And if you look at the FBI data, it'll show a 2% drop in violent crimes in 2021 and 2022, but total crimes increased dramatically in both of those years. In 2022, if you look at the National Crime Victimization Data, which measures reported and unreported crimes, that increased by 42% in 2022. And so, I hope even the people in the media can understand the difference between crimes that are reported and total crimes that are out there. The problem is that law enforcement in this country has collapsed. If you look at the arrest rates for violent crimes in large cities, but this is true across all cities, but large cities, it averaged about 44% prior to COVID. It started falling in 2020, and by 2022, only 20% of violent crimes result in arrests. That's over a 50% drop from 44% to 20%. But at the same time, what happened was people weren't reporting crimes as much. If you don't think the criminals are going to be arrested, if you don't think that they're going to be punished, it reduces the incentive for people to go and take the time to go and report the crimes to the police.
Yeah, exactly.
And so at the same time, the arrest rates for reported crimes was plummeting. The rate that people were reporting crimes to police plummeted. And for those cities, if you look at arrests as a percentage of total violent crimes, only 8% result in arrest, and only 1% of property crimes result in arrest. I mean, to me, that seems like a complete collapse of the criminal justice system. And And in addition, just because somebody's arrested doesn't mean that they're charged, let alone prosecuted or convicted. And for many crimes, criminals have no risk that they're really facing for committing the crimes.
I was going to ask you, in terms of the numbers, the fact that somebody may even get arrested, but these Soros DAs release them as fast as they come in. Are those affecting the numbers? Are those kind of actions affecting the crime rate numbers as well?
Right. Well, I think they affect it in a couple different ways.
I'll tell you what, let's do this, because we're going to get to break here in just a moment. And I want to give you plenty of room to break that down, because I mean, there's a big discrepancy on the numbers that you're sharing with us right now. I mean, this is the truth of and the reality of crime in America today that's not being reported, certainly not acknowledged by this administration or being reported by the mainstream media, as you say, that is doing everything they can to back President Joe Biden. We've got more from Dr. John Lott after this. Stay with us.
This is Don Shank with today's global update from the Tide Ministry, sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ worldwide in the languages people were born to speak. There are still millions of people who are longing for the peace that only Christ can give, and we're determined to share his love in any way we can. Bike, hike, or even swim 13 miles in 16 days to make an eternal impact on the lives of millions around the world. The race will kick off on Saturday, April 27th and end on Sunday, May 12th. This year, the Tide Ministry aims to raise $15,000 to directly enable new outreach in the Balkan region of Eastern Europe. Holding this virtual race gives fellow believers the opportunity to tangibly participate in what God is doing worldwide. To learn more about the Tide Race to Share the Gospel and how you can participate regardless of where you live, visit thetide.org. That's thetide.org.
Home sales are down 31% across America, and mortgage rates are on the rise. If your home is not selling, you need to call our experts right now at the Quick Cash Hotline. We have investors ready to pay you cash for your property, regardless of the condition it's in. Most of our closings can happen in about 7 days. You don't have to worry about a buyer getting approved. You don't have to worry about showing your home. One simple call right now. Just pick up the phone and call us. I'll give you the number in a second. We will negotiate with you a price to buy your home. It's that simple. If you're ready to sell your home right now, any home, any condition, and you don't want to put money into it, no problem. We'll buy it from you. Call right now. It's a free call.
800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. That's 800-217-6459.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-536-4436. That's 800-536-4436. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-536-4436.
Has your heater or air conditioner busted? Appliance broken? Computer crashed? Then you need an ARW home warranty. Home system and appliance repairs and replacements can cause stress and cost you thousands of dollars per year. With an A+ BBB rating and a top-rated home warranty company on Consumer Affairs and Trustpilot, ARW Home provides superior service, featuring the industry's lowest service call fee. ARW Home has warranty plans that cover your kitchen and laundry appliances, heating and air conditioning systems, electrical and plumbing systems, and much more. Call 800-559-7562 to customize your plan. Plus, ARW has partnered with Azurian to protect your new and used tablets, laptops, TVs, and other home tech from accidental damage and wear and tear. All plans come with a 30-day money-back guarantee. Call 800-559-7562. That's 800-559-7562.
We're back with you, America. 19 minutes after the top of the hour. Bill Martinez here. Dr. John Lott, the president of the Crime Prevention Research Center and author of Gun Control Myths, continues with us. John, go ahead and pick up where we left off, if you would, please.
Right. Well, we're asking about these Soros district attorneys, what impact that they have on crime. And they have it in multiple ways. One is they demoralize the police. If the police think that the people that they arrest aren't going to be charged, that they're going to be immediately released, the police have to ask themselves, what's the point of going and arresting these individuals to begin with?
Right.
And so that's one of the reasons why the arrest rate's fallen. And it's one of the reasons why people are less likely to go and report crimes to the police. And so that affects the FBI data that's there. But there's another factor, and that is, not only does the FBI reported crime data differ from the National Crime Victimization Measure of total crime, the FBI reported crime data differs from the National Crime Victimization Measure of reported crimes. So if you look at 2022, for example, while the FBI showed a 2% drop in violent crime, the National Crime Victimization Survey measure of reported crime showed a 29% increase. Now, why the discrepancy in reported crime? Well, you know, if you take Manhattan, Alvin Bragg, for example, he's reduced the charges for 60% of felonies that were there, almost all of those reducing them from felonies to misdemeanors. And the big category there are assaults. And so an aggravated assault would be, let's say, an assault with a gun. And he doesn't want to charge criminals with gun crimes. And so he's reducing those aggravated assaults to what they call simple assaults, which are misdemeanors. And the problem is that the FBI crime reported data just deals with aggravated assaults, felonies, and doesn't count the simple assaults that are there. And so by reclassifying them and by not charging these individuals with weapons offenses, he's reduced the number of reported violent crimes that are counted by the FBI. And the thing is, though, when you have the National Crime Victimization Survey, you know, so they ask like 40 questions to people, these 240,000 people that they survey each year. They'll go and ask them, you know, have you been a victim of a crime? Characteristics of where the crime occurred, when it occurred, the characteristics of the criminal, what was involved in the crime, how you responded, what the final outcome was, and whether you reported it. They'll ask them, you know, what were the characteristics of the crime? And the person will say they were assaulted and the person had a gun. Well, the National Crime Victimization data counts that as an aggravated assault, even though the FBI data doesn't, because the district attorney wouldn't charge the person with a weapons offense. And so you can get an increase in aggravated assaults with the National Crime Victimization data that will show a drop with the FBI reported crime data.
And of course, Joe Biden's going to, you know, report on the data that supports his thinking as if they're the answer. The Democratic Party is the answer to crime in the streets, and say, well, crime is going down, but actually the numbers are juiced, right?
Well, yeah, and it's worse than just Biden doing it. The media has been carrying water for him on this issue.
Right.
And so, you know, just a week ago, you had, on this week, you had Tim Scott from Senator from South Carolina, going and talking about the increase in crime in the country. And, you know, the moderator, the host there, was saying, oh, no, you're wrong. Violent crime is falling, and pointing to the FBI crime data. I mean, I wish I could go and talk to Tim Scott and some of these other guys and just say, you're right, but you have to understand the different measures there and be able to go and respond to these guys. Look, Americans in many cities go to CVS or Walgreens and they see all sorts of things behind glass. They see they have to go and get a salesperson to come out, unlock the glass, and stand next to them while they're reading the ingredients that are there. You know, it's the stores aren't doing that because it's fun, or they just want to go and spend extra money, or they want their sales clerks to have to go and walk around the store and open glass cases for people. They do it. People know that that wasn't the case a few years ago. And the reason why they're having to do it is because of increased crime.
You see, you're exercising common sense here, John. I mean, just by observation, a real simple observation like that would tell you that what the crime statistics, the true crime statistics versus what the FBI is reporting, that there's a conflict there. And like you say, unfortunately, the mainstream media is carrying the water for those that, you know, for the Bloombergs of the world and whatever they want to say, that somehow these policies are positive and that, you know, the things that they're promoting are bringing, you know, crime down. But the other thing to consider is ever since we had this movement about defunding the police, John, this is also an extension of the problem, isn't it?
Right. Look, this isn't rocket science. You have a huge drop in arrest rates, in part because you've had defunding the police. Even if they go and hire new police in the last year or so to try to reduce that, you know, you've lost police that have 10, 15, 20 years of experience.
Exactly.
You've lost them from retirements, for example, because they've got fed up with what's happening. Somebody who's been on the job for 6 months or a year simply doesn't have the effectiveness of somebody who had 15 years of experience that you've lost now.
Exactly.
And so, you know, it's not rocket science. You see this huge drop in arrest rates. Criminals don't have much to worry about in terms of facing any penalties. And so guess what? You have more crime. And so all this fits together to me. You have a collapse in law enforcement and you have big increases in crime. And the FBI data is messed up because of the fact that because law enforcement's collapsed, people aren't reporting crime to the police at the rate that they were before.
Exactly. John, we got about 2.5 minutes left, and I did want you to address, you know, one of the latest Supreme Court decisions regarding our Second Amendment right. Tell our audience about that, if you would.
Right. Well, there was a case that they just decided this past Friday called Rahimi.
Yes.
You had a really bad guy who was a drug dealer and been shooting at people and beating up people and committing many violent crimes, but he hadn't been prosecuted for those things. What they had done was they had used a domestic violence restraining order to take away his guns. And so the question before the Supreme Court was, do you have to be convicted of a violent crime or not to be able to go and take away somebody's guns? Now, he had the opportunity for a hearing, due process, but had turned it down. And the court basically said, look, if you go through, at least this is implied from from Roberts right up there, that if you go through due process, you can temporarily lose your right to be able to go and own a gun. So I think overall, that's a good decision. We're going to have other cases dealing with things like red flag laws that are going to be having to come up. But I hope, you know, just reading the tea leaves, that they're going to say you can't take away somebody's constitutional rights unless you have due process, actually have a hearing where evidence can be presented. Now, you can waive your right to a hearing if you want, as in the Rahimi case. But overall, I mean, I think Roberts surprisingly wrote a very strong decision there. I mean, he basically hearkened back to Lexington and Concord and the British trying to take away colonists' guns and the importance of people being able to self-defend themselves. He talked about how after the Civil War, Southern states tried to disarm blacks so that they'd be vulnerable to attacks.
Dr. John Lott, president of the Crime Prevention Research Center, author of Gun Control Myths. Thank you, John. Take care.
Thank you very much.
Malaria continues to be a significant public health issue, especially in Africa. In 2022, the World Health Organization estimated 608,000 malaria-related deaths, with 95% of those being traced back to the African region. Working with the Society of Family Health Rwanda and the Rwanda Ministry of Health, SC Johnson, makers of RAID, are bringing health posts that diagnose, treat, and prevent malaria to the most remote areas of Rwanda. Known as Closer to Care, this initiative has led to 76 health posts in the region and brought healthcare to over 1 million people. Since their introduction, Rwandans' average walk time to receive care reduced from 3 hours to 30 minutes, and Rwanda has seen mortality rates decrease 89%. For more than 60 years, SC Johnson has been demonstrating its leadership in insect science research, and for the last decade has specifically focused on preventing mosquito-borne disease with prevention tools that maximize social impact and help strengthen communities. Support the fight against malaria by sharing Closer to Care's mission and amplifying the importance of healthcare access for those who need it most. Sponsored by SC Johnson, makers of RAID.
Hi, everyone. Michael Horn for GetTheTea.com. Summer heat getting to you? Go to GetTheTea.com and take advantage of their first ever semi-annual sale on all of their herbal cleansing teas. Buy 2, get 1 month absolutely free. Get the Tea is available in natural, peppermint, pomegranate, and senna, the added strength cleansing tea. Go to GetTheTea.com. Enter the code MikeT and receive free shipping too. GetTheTea.com is a family-based and owned company that has been in business over 15 years. They also carry unique supplements that you won't find in stores for your immune system, your glucose levels, and vitamins too. GetTheTea.com. It's one of the best sales of the year, so don't wait. Buy 2, get 1 free. Go to GetTheTea, T-E-A, GetTheTea.com. Enter the code MikeT for free shipping. GetTheTea.com. Mike T is your code. Go to GetTheTea.com.
I'm Phil Hotzentola, the pastor of Influence Church in Anaheim Hills, California. I have a new book out with Charisma Publishing. The title, It's Midnight in America. You know the church is asleep and slumbering in the night. We're on the doorstep of the return of Christ. Every day we see more and more signs of his return. But are you ready? My new book, It's Midnight in America, will answer the most pressing questions about biblical prophecy, the last days. The book will help you connect biblical prophecies with current events. Diminish fear, find hope, and develop an unshakable faith for the days ahead. The book is available on Amazon. Get your copy today.
We're back with you, America. Bill Martinez here. It's always great to have you along with us, sharing a part of your day. For more information on the show, you can check it out, BillMartinezShow.com. Okay? You ready to have some fun? Well, when was the last time you played or participated in activities without an agenda in mind? I'll tell you, that's a pointed question. And I got to tell you, it grates a little bit with me because, you know what? I got to go along with that question. Well, there's a new survey on behalf of Legoland New York that found that 80% of CEOs say that play contributes to their success at work. In fact, 55% would consider rank play as a top benefit and would consider giving their employees time off to play to promote creativity at work. Here to tell us more about it is the National Director of Public Relations for Merlin Entertainments, Julie Estrada. Julie, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us.
Hi, Bill. Thanks for having me.
Hey, great to have you here so we can talk about the perfect place for family playtime. How about that, huh?
Well, that's why we did that survey, Bill. It's exactly for that reason, just to enforce the fact that more people need PTO, playtime off. And
right.
Those CEOs that you were talking about, they're saying that it contributes to the success of their employees success of their productivity, their innovation, their creativity. All of it is inspired when more parents take the time to actually play with their kids.
Exactly. Well, and that's the benefit with the kids because, like I said, I had to posit that question, when was the last time you went and just had fun without an agenda? Us type A personalities, things have to be organized and set and, on the calendar and everything. But, when you have kids, they're so spontaneous. This is what we love about having our kids around, right?
It is. And I mean, we want to plan, and we're there with you with the type A. You want to plan, but you can plan ahead of time. You can go to legoland.com/New York, plan your trip and get organized in that manner. But then once you're here, just have fun and explore. We have 7 Lego themed lands. We're 150 acre theme park. We're here in the beautiful, picturesque Hudson Valley. We're about 60 miles northwest of Manhattan. So it's an overnight drive for you. If you're coming out, come and stay the night. We have Legoland Hotel steps away from the entrance of the park. A lot of times kids don't want to leave theme parks because they're having so much fun. But this way, they're going kicking and screaming. You're taking them right from one experience into the next, seamlessly to that Legoland Hotel where they can board a disco elevator and continue their great experience.
Outstanding. Talk about steps. You can get a lot of your steps in, right?
I can tell you how many steps I got in yesterday. I got in 8,242.
Whoa. Wow.
Just from walking around the theme park, but more so, you can save some of those steps if you take the gondola ride. So we have a new minifigure sky flyer, which is going to take you from the top of the park, which is Brick Street, and take you all the way down to the bottom of the park, which is our Lego Pirates area. We have 7 theme lands. So we found a great way to get you over there in like a fun, interactive environment. Kids can dance, learn the minifigure sky flyer dance before they get on board. Once they're on board, they can look over the lands, kind of scope out where they want to go next. Up to 10 people can go in each party pod. It's ADA accessible. And of course, you can put strollers on board because we know that you have them. We're geared towards families with children ages 2 to 12.
Exactly. I got to tell you, I love the whole design and layout for Legoland. The colors. I mean, just looking at the colors, even in this situation here and the B-roll, the good guys are rolling for us here. You just can't help but smile, Julie.
It is. It's a happy place. It's been my happy place. I watched my kids grow up at Legoland parks. We have 3 across the nation. One in Legoland, California, Legoland, Florida, and here in Legoland, New York. This is our newest and our baby, and I love watching it grow. And seeing all the kids seeing it for the first time, that's my favorite part of my job, is seeing their reactions when they see the models in Miniland or when they're riding the Dragon roller coaster. And they're just really engaged with their families. That's the way it should be.
Exactly. Julie, speaking of which, how did you land this job as the National Director of Public Relations, for Merlin and for Legoland?
Bill, I actually started off in broadcast news. I was in broadcast news in Los Angeles and in San Diego. Loved what I was doing, but I was getting up at 2:30 in the morning, getting there at 4. I had 2 little kids at the time. I was pregnant with my second one. And this position for public relations at Legoland, California came up. And I went and applied for it. I had no PR background, but I knew media and I knew a fun story. And I loved Legoland, California when I went there. So that's how I got it and started there. And then from there, opened up all the parks across the nations. I opened up Legoland Dubai, Legoland Malaysia.
Oh, wow.
Legoland New York. We have 10 Legoland resorts across the globe with another one that's going to be opening in China soon.
And the kids get to travel with you?
They do sometimes. Yes, they do. They're getting older, and I now have a grandson that I'm going to be taking to experience his Legoland adventures.
Well, good for you. Well, congratulations again. It's important, as you say, for families to take time off and to play, right?
Work and play balance. You have to do it. Otherwise, life goes by too quickly. And you really are more innovative and creative and productive when you take that time to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, without a doubt. Can you share tips for planning playtime, with our families this summer? Go ahead.
I always go to the website ahead of time. As a mom, I'm pre-booker, so I want to know where I'm going, what I'm going into. If you go to legoland.com/New York ahead of time, you get the best rates on our hotel if you're more than 30 days out. You also can get a $29 kids ticket right now with a paid adult ticket. So that's a good way to have a nice little summer savings as you're going in. And then come out here and experience the water attractions. Bring a bathing suit. Know that you're going to get wet. We have 318 gallons of water that pour down on you in our water playground, 4 different slides, nice little fun cannons and interactive play. It's a great place to experience with the entire family.
Yeah, get ready to get wet and have some fun here. Maybe those stuffy, CEOs and those executive suites are going to come down and realize that, like the survey said, that they're finding that having that balance of work and play is critical to their success and effectiveness as leaders, right?
Absolutely. I mean, like you said, 88% of them said that taking that playtime off contributed to their success. And I think it contributes to their employees' success and happiness as well.
Well, that's a great survey. What prompted this look-see, Julie?
I think we're just noticing that people weren't taking that time to set aside for their kids. And that age group, when you're 2 to 12, that's so valuable. It goes so fast. And I know this more than anybody watching my boys grow quickly. It's really important. And we also became a certified autism center. So all 3 of our Legoland resorts are certified autism centers where we have sensory guides where it gives you a level of intensity from 0 to 10 right before each ride, so you know what sight, sound, smell, taste, anything that's going to affect your child and have that experience. We prepare you for that.
Julie Estrada, that's awesome news. I was not aware that that you offered that. That is terrific.
We do. We also have quiet rooms through every Legoland park where you can take your child if you need that time to step aside. We have earplugs, we have weighted blankets, tactile toys, just to take their mind off and focus on that. So it's something that we want to make sure everyone knows. Awesome. It's for everyone. We train our staff to be able to work with those that are neurodivergent because it's huge. 1 out of 36 kids in the United States has some form of autism.
Well, exactly. I mean, and especially when you go into a theme park like that, there's a lot happening. You can be overstimulated, and that's terrific that Legoland has thought in advance to offer, these kind of quiet areas, for kids to, take a breath, just relax for just a moment. Hey, I'm a parent. I need a time to take a breath.
I need time off too. I mean, I need time to step aside and cool off and calm down, which is why I like it when you're staying at a theme park, especially here at Legoland. You go to Legoland Hotel. If you need a break during the day, you want to cool off, you just need to rest, you want to take a nap, you want to change your clothes, whatever it is you want to do, you can do that when you're staying at the hotel and it's just steps away. Take a little break during the day. Don't rush yourself. Just take time to enjoy the experience.
Exactly. Julie Estrada, about a minute left. Touch on any can't miss attractions that we need to include in our visit and where the good folks can go for more information.
Yeah, so at Legoland New York, one of the unique attractions is the Lego Factory Adventure Tour, where you're getting on a ride and you're kind of going through as if you are becoming a Lego minifigure. You see what a Lego brick goes through as it's being boxed up and ready to go. It's a unique experience. We have a 4D theater. We have shows Go Extreme this summer. It's an extreme stunt show where you can see skateboarders and bicyclists and pogo sticks showing you some unique stunts. 4th of July, we have Red, White, and Boom, where you put on these glasses and you can see Lego bricks.
Oh, wow.
Cool. So many unique experiences that we can only give you when you're combining Lego. So go to legoland.com/New York to book your trip.
She's the National Director of Public Relations for Merlin Entertainments, Julie Estrada. Julie, thank you so much for being with us. Have a great summer.
Thank you. Enjoy your summer as well. Hope to see you out here.
You got it. Hey, Bill Martinez here. Do you have a minute to talk about your financial future? I'm feeling like you are. For most of us, our economy is in trouble. So is there a solution? Good question. I have a good answer for you. Check out my friends at Genesis Gold Group. They can help you secure your financial future in these unstable times. Gold and silver are precious metals that investors have counted on for hundreds of years. All investors agree that gold should be a part of our financial portfolios. This is why I recommend that you run, not walk, to the Genesis Gold Group. In fact, you don't have to run or walk. A free informative consultation is just a toll-free call away. And you can see for yourself why investing in gold and silver can make sense in securing your financial future. So call them 844-202-4252. That's 844-202-4252, or check out the website goldwithbill.com.
Say goodbye to pain, fatigue, and aging woes with Greska's Carbon 60. For more than a decade, Greska's Carbon 60 has been the go-to supplement to eliminate free radicals and toxins, improving overall health and mental clarity. Developed by a carbon engineer to provide the most bioavailable Carbon 60, Greska's food-grade dietary supplement provides the best value and natural relief from inflammation and pain. Discover the secret to a healthier life with Greska's Carbon 60. Greska's Carbon 60 is your solution for pain, inflammation, and fatigue. Greska's Carbon 60. Call anytime, 720-660-40, 720-660-40, or visit c-60.com. That's the letter c-60.com, c-60.com.
Ms. Martinez, how you doing, sir?
I'm Phil Hotzenfeller, the pastor of Influence Church in Anaheim Hills, California. I have a new book out with Charisma Publishing. The title, It's Midnight in America. You know the church is asleep and slumbering in the night. We're on the doorstep of the return of Christ. Every day we see more and more signs of his return. But are you ready? My new book, It's Midnight in America, will answer the most pressing questions about biblical prophecy, the last days. The book will help you connect biblical prophecies with current events. Diminish fear, find hope, and develop an unshakable faith for the days ahead. The book is available on Amazon. Get your copy today.
What are you going to do with your old car? You can try selling it, you could junk it, or you could donate it to Heritage for the Blind. Your car will be towed away for free, and your donation is tax deductible. Just call 1-800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, vans, trucks, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. It will be towed away for free, and you'll be supporting those that need help. Heritage for the Blind is a nonprofit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call right now to donate your car, and as a special thank you for calling, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to many exciting locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now, 1-800-785-9618. Donating is easy, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher. Call now, 1-800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Hey, welcome back. 14 minutes before the top of the hour. Bill Martinez here, and we got a special guest with us. I've been looking forward to talking with the U.S. Navy captain retired, who is a GOP U.S. Senate candidate out of Virginia, author of the new book, Call Me an American. Captain Hung Kao is with us. Captain Kao, welcome to the show. Good to have you with us.
Bill, thank you so much for having me.
Hey, I am so excited, and I can't wait for our audience to hear your story, because it's the best of what we would hope out of the whole immigration process. There's a lot of positive immigration stories out there that we're not hearing right now that are being blunted because of the open borders and the situation that the current administration has put us in. But lest we forget, and many of us, majority of Americans, came from immigrants, and we are here and assimilated. And like your story, a proud story, Captain, is one that we need to be reminded of in light to offset, this negative reporting that has been taking place. So welcome to the show. Good to have you on with us, sir.
Oh, thank you so much. I mean, it's really a blessing to be in this country. I mean, this country gave me everything. I mean, we left Vietnam without any hope or any, idea of what things are going to come about, and
Right.
We came here, and this country gave us everything. I went to the top high school in the country, a brand new school that opened up called Thomas Jefferson High School for Science and Technology. Then I went to the United States Naval Academy, where I earned a bachelor's in engineering. I went to Naval Postgraduate School, where I earned a master's in physics, and I had fellowships at MIT and Harvard. But you know what? I paid back every single dime of that American dream with 25 years of service in Navy Special Operations. I mean, I was a Navy deep sea diver. I recovered John F. Kennedy Jr., his wife, and his sister-in-law, and I defused bombs for our SEAL teams and Special Forces teams in Iraq, Afghanistan, and Somalia. So, I mean, I feel like, every day I served was to pay back for that American dream.
Well, it's interesting. You should bring up JFK Jr. And I'm sure you've heard, the conspiracies out there suggesting that JFK Jr. is still alive, but you recovered his body. So that pretty much refutes that conspiracy or, that narrative out there, right?
Yes, sir. I mean, honestly, it was a tragedy for the whole country. No matter what side of the aisle you're on, it's
Right.
still an American life that was gone. I mean, we remember the images of him saluting his father's coffin, and we remember what he represented for this country. Whether you believe or understand and agree with their politics or not, it's still a family in mourning at the time, and I was glad to bring some closure for them.
Captain, in your story, that you're out there, talking to your constituents about, what is the main idea that you want them to know about Hung Kao?
Well, I fought for this country and I bled for this country, and I'm not done fighting for it. And that's really what we need right now is people that are going to fight for us. Not a lot of these beta males that are just going in there. They're happy to get along to get along. We need people that are going to fight back, because this country is being invaded right now in the southern border by 177 different countries, including military-age males from China, Yemen, Syria. There's reports now that there's hundreds of ISIS fighters that have come into our country, and it's kind of scary. They're bringing in drugs, they're bringing in gangs, and for legal immigrants like myself who waited so patiently in line for years, 7 years for us to get our citizenship. In fact, my father, the last thing he had hanging over his bed before he passed away 2 years ago was his naturalization certificate.
Oh, wow.
That's how much we love this country. And you should want to come here and make yourself better and make this country better, not screaming death to America.
Exactly. Considering that 99% of Americans do not serve in the military, being former military myself, I appreciate your commitment and our oath of office that never expires, does it?
No, sir, you're absolutely right. I mean, we wrote a blank check to this country up to and including in our life, right? I mean,
Yes.
because that's what love is. And Christ said, there's no greater love than a man lays down his life for his friends, and that's what we did.
Yes, exactly. Well, congratulations on the campaign, and we've got a bit of a ways to go yet. And so, what can we do to help you and support your candidacy?
Well, sir, the biggest thing is to go to hungforva.com. That's HUNGFORVA.com. No matter where you live, you might not be able to vote for me, but I can vote for you, because my vote in the Senate will help secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, and provide for the common defense of this country. And so, I've been shot at, I've been blown up. It doesn't matter. They can't do anything to me, but I need the ammunition to fight back. So I'm asking for the ammunition from your viewers to donate whatever they can in order for us to fight back against this machine. I'm going against Tim Kaine. This was Hillary Clinton's running mate. So,
Right.
He's got the PhD from the Hillary School of Crookedness. And so they know how to shake the trees and get the money and attack veterans like you and me.
Yes, exactly. Well, we need you. We need you in the Beltway. I've been saying repeatedly on this show, Captain, that it's not just 4 years for Trump. It's 4 + 8. This is why the VP selection is so critical, because the mantle needs to be turned over so that we can, conservatives can have a fair chance at getting this country back on track. So it's not only Donald Trump. We have to send in reinforcements in order to offset, as you say, those like Tim Kaine and the Democrats. People want to say, well, all the problems that we have in the country is because of Joe Biden. But I say, look at Joe Biden's only, the tip of the spear. You've got to look at all the Democrats that have been in lockstep with him, 97, 99, in some cases, 100% lockstep with Joe Biden. They're responsible for where America is today and off track, right?
You're absolutely right, sir. I mean, it is all these people that just vote lock, stock, and barrel with Joe Biden that allowed this country to be overrun, that allowed us to be energy dependent on foreign oil, that are destroying years of innovation, and also entrepreneurs. I mean, during COVID, they shut down this entire nation, and these guys said nothing. We destroyed an entire generation from getting the education they need, and they won't be able to catch up. And we've destroyed businesses that were passed down from generation to generation because of some old guy named Anthony Fauci, who just haphazardly pulled out these mandates without any checks and balances.
Well, and look at him, the way he performed on the Hill the past week in his answers. I mean, how squishy. Here was a guy that was so proud walking around claiming to be, Mr. Science himself and the authority of all that was COVID. And now he's just, folding up his tent, so to speak, and misrepresenting and even flat out lying to Congress. Now, I'm curious to see if Congress will have the backbone to do something about Fauci and to hold him in contempt, because it seems that one side of the aisle is constantly being held in contempt. Some are serving jail sentences or have, but meanwhile, those on the left are getting away with lying to the American people.
Yes, sir. I mean, we've kicked out tens of thousands of honorable men and women who were serving our military because they refused to get a vaccine. And we've said that. That was one of the things I ran for in 2022 for Congress, was the fact that I was fighting against this mandate that threw out some very good men and women who served honorably. Now we're trying to bring them back in, saying, hey, no offense, we'll bring you back in. No. And this is why we have a recruiting problem right now in the military, because they saw us turning our backs on these men and women. So why would I go into a military that would so easily turn their backs on me and demonize me and give me a dishonorable discharge?
Right. Well, the other thing too, I mean, flat out, Captain, is that young men and women want to enter the military for all the right reasons, to protect our national security. It's about being ready for a war. And when your eye is off the ball and you're more concerned about pronouns and sex changes, what does that have to do with military preparedness?
You're absolutely right, sir. I mean, this is one of those things where we're demonizing the alpha males and alpha females, the young men and women that will rip out their own guts, eat it, and ask for seconds. These are people that are going to win wars, not these guys that are cross-dressing, putting on lipstick, and dancing on TikTok. This is not the military we need. I mean, we are laughing stock to the world, and the Chinese and the Russians are just bulking up their military while we're pushing these men and women that want to serve, and we're demonizing them, and we're bringing in these cross-dressers, basically.
Yeah, right. Well, and as you say, we're not fooling anybody. I mean, even, you look at some video from, recently overseas, they're doing some Saturday Night Live type of skits on the dyscognitive, condition of the president, the commander-in-chief of our country. So we're not fooling anybody. I mean, look at Putin, look at Xi, Kim Jong-un, Iran. They're all emboldened by the perceived weakness. And I say right now, I mean, it's front and center in front of everybody, including our enemies, which Marco Rubio brilliantly said that our enemies no longer fear us and our allies no longer trust us. This is not the America that I believe that a majority of Americans would want.
No, you're absolutely right. We abandoned everybody in Afghanistan. And again, I was there in January 2021.
Wow.
And we left a country that was very, very stable at the time in January 2021. Joe Biden came in and just made it all fall apart. And watching mothers hand babies to Marines just remind me of Vietnam all over again. And don't forget, in 2010, this is the same guy who went over there as the Vice President of the United States to negotiate the status force agreement and failed to do so. And I watched every night as our forces were getting picked off on their way to Kuwait on the Blue Force Tracker. And in 1975, this is the same clown that his first vote in the Senate was to stop all funding to South Vietnam, causing the country to fall apart. So I've got a little personal beef with Joe Biden right
I can
now.
tell. And look at Captain, I so appreciate your commitment to this country as it continues. Remind everybody, 10 seconds left where they can go to support your candidacy for Senate in Virginia.
Hungforva.com, HUNGFORVA.com. God bless you, sir.
God bless.
Other BBS Radio TV. Our shows are so captivating, you'll binge watch until your couch demands a family discount and your remote tries to friend you on Facebook. Don't skimp on the popcorn. Lather on that butter like it's going out of style.
BBS Radio TV, live worldwide radio and web TV productions. A place for answers. We do talk shows so well, they might just talk back.
BBS Radio TV, from metaphysical politics to 9D chess. Our shows are so mind-bending, they make ordinary candy look like broccoli.
BBS Radio TV, free, unmolested content from A to Z. We don't limit the content, and we won't limit your opinions. You get to decide what's right, what you like, and then live with it. How do you like them apples?
Home sales are down 31% across America, and mortgage rates are on the rise. If your home is not selling, you need to call our experts right now at the Quick Cash Hotline. We have investors ready to pay you cash for your property, regardless of the condition it's in. Most of our closings can happen in about 7 days. You don't have to worry about a buyer getting approved. You don't have to worry about showing your home. One simple call right now. Just pick up the phone and call us. I'll give you the number in a second. We will negotiate with you a price to buy your home. It's that simple. If you're ready to sell your home right now, any home, any condition, and you don't want to put money into it, no problem. We'll buy it from you. Call right now. It's a free call.
800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. 800-217-6459. That's 800-217-6459.
BBS Radio TV. If it's not mainstream, it's on BBS Radio TV. A place for answers.